ladies and gentlemen, to the OCE Championship League Play 1. My name is Hysterics. You got me Cheeseman's next to me now, and Korea's down at the end. And when
with the Wiggles now, all of a sudden.
When Yummy's next to me,
emote.
I tend to do something a little bit different.
He just wants to trigger me. Really.
I just want to, look, I wanted to come back in a strong way, and I think I have. And who else has come back in a strong way? In this week, I feel that Love Decks have come back strong. Although they didn't take the win against Chiefs, now they're going up against Darksided, who is arguably not as good as the Chiefs. So how do they perform?
This is, again, a time for Love Decks to really step it up and put themselves in a position where they're contending for those top spots. Obviously, if you come top 2, which beating the Darksided would potentially lead to, means that you go straight through to the finals.
Yeah, and especially if you got the Chiefs win, you got the Darksided win. If you can pull the Ten of Mine win, you pretty much got a hat-trick of sweet wins.
But first they have to get there, because this is the series that's going to tell us where maybe Love Decks sit if they can push their way up. Darksided have been one of the most hard-working mobs that we've had in OCE. They've put in the time and effort, and that's why they're in the top.
Well, they're really determined to go. We've got Shady, who's said time and time again in interviews that he wants to go. Express needs to go back almost, and Dumbo's missed by just the tiniest amount.
And he's got like 1,000,000 bazillion hours. I believe that's the exact number on his team account.
6,127 or something like that.
Yeah, so he has like 2 players worth of potential hours with that level of performance, and he's dedicated. And with that kind of work ethic that he brings to the team who already work hard, they're going to go all the distance.
It's a big step up as well. We need to see Shady. We saw him at the end of last season really stepping up. I think need to get him going again. And Express has the opportunity to show up big, just like Adzi did in that last game with that huge performance.
I mean, the stats are going to bump up a little bit from Adzi's last game. And taking it to all 5 games, there's still going to be some good morale after that one.
These are some career stats here. And 0.96 goals is the highest goals of anybody across the Throwdown leagues, all of them combined. Yet CJM, I don't think he got a single goal. He had 1 goal last series.
No, he got punished last game. Like all the whole matches, he barely showed up at all compared to how he used to be, where he like tops out saves, he tops out goals. 44% shot percentage in the off season just wasn't there.
We kind of saw that across the entire thing. CJM, even last week, wasn't that offensive player.
But if he can step up in this series, maybe it goes very differently. And I think I have to start with you, Korea, normally, because I would anyway.
Yeah.
But in this upcoming series, has Love Decks made you a believer? Are you now on the hype train?
I am not yet on the hype train. I am not an easily converted man. And I think for me...
You're on the hype train, just a different one.
Yeah, I'm on a hype train.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
you meant to make choo-choo.
No, the enthusiasm for your hype train. I'm more on the Dumbo hype train at the moment. Okay. So I have full faith in him. He's been playing with this team for long enough now that he's going to hit that smooth point where they're past the easy 80% of success to get. They're now going to go into the 20.
Correct, quickly.
And extra time.
Dark
side.
You might be on the Express train. I'm on the Love Decks train. It's a bit of a calmer ride, a bit
throw
more
it
love
down,
going
throw
in.
it down. I'm also on this damn train.
Decks. We've got this going.
Hell yeah,
no bias
we're going to ride it all night long. Just biased toward, against Korea because he went Darksided.
I believe in you guys. Express, Shady, yep.
However, Darksided, the experienced mob, and looking seriously at it, Love Decks have got a big task ahead of them. Darksided, a very different team from the Chiefs, different play styles, and individually can be a lot more scary.
I feel like Darksided are the team that are inconsistent. They have a chance to play down or the play up all the way to the top. So we'll have to find out today which team is showing up into league play.
Well, whether Darksided can hold out against Love Decks, who would have a bit of a confidence boost, we'll find out. Game 1 begins now, and league play has the chance to be upset. Love Decks can do it. Number reaching the ball.
Darksided already pinned in their defense, and this is a great sign for Love Decks, who were struggling to get into offense in the last game.
The defensive now, Darksided. Actually on the blue side for you folks at home. So
classic.
Might be a little confusing for you. Shady's going to center the ball, so this is actually Love Decks on the defensive. Now getting pushed up again. CJM, he's found an opening and it breathes. and it lives for the first goal.
Important, a quick one too. Not something you often get against Darksided, who are very risk-free. But CJM gets involved right at the start with a great shot down the middle.
Well, for getting that first one, this is what we saw against the Chiefs, was that they were able to break through nice and early. And it was keeping that consistency for Love Decks. So right now on the defensive again, Darksided, Shady, he's met with the terrible fate of Adzi. Pushing the ball up, Monty Connor. It's taken away by Express. 2 members on this wing. The third to recover, that's Shady. As he brings the ball up, Darksided now going on that offense again. They find another weakness.
That's important. Seeing Shady, we really wanted to watch him see if he could get those setups, and he did past the defense. Darksided just getting that first goal, pushing that one through, and importantly as well, a confidence booster for Dumbo.
Absolutely. Especially the newest member on the team, but by now, he's assimilated so damn well.
I mean, that's just because they've been putting so many hours in.
Dumbo's really risen in the past month or two. We've been seeing more aggressive Dumbo. CJM passing upfield. That's to Adzi. Shady on the defense with Express here. It's actually been centered. There's Monty Connor. Hits the crossbar, comes all the way back out, and Adzi is unable to do anything with it. A close call from Love Decks.
What I've been noticing is that Love Decks really do get a lot of aerial demos coming out whenever on the attack, and it does allow them to continue their attack more than they should really be getting away with.
Monty Connor back here. The ball left for CJM as it swings past. Adzi now brings it back to this corner. CJM, however, has no boost, so he can't contend. Express waiting back into the net. Ball unable to find itself. Express back over to Dumbo. It's the backboard. Dumbo coming in. Playing it slow in front of that ball. Adzi hitting it up. Monty Connor, he's not even going to chase it. It was just left for Adzi. CGM getting the backboard, but sent away. Darksided back on this defensive. Love Deck still pushing hard. This is aggressive. Great play. What Love Decks need to do, try and shut down Darksided. CGM, he waits back for the ball. Now off the corner. The angle's right. The demolition onto Dumbo. Doesn't open anything up just yet, but Adzi with the pass back. It's going to center in front of net. Express gets to it first.
And Dumbo just hanging in that midfield, waiting for that pass, being the aggressive player right now for Darksided, which is pushing Express further back as well.
Express has been someone we've always looked to as the stable rock of Darksided.
He's such a good striker.
Darksided now pushing the ball upfield. This is going to go right through. Monty Connor. Oh, actually slips in.
That was a good angle from Shady. I didn't expect him to get that past the defense. Might have actually come off CJM or just floated in. But it's an interesting one. It should have been saved out.
Yeah.
It's not a great sign here for Love Decks.
No.
They do need to step it back up again. They took it close to the Chiefs. They are in a position where they kind of have to beat Darksided if they want to show that they're in the top 4.
They've gotten close with the Chiefs and Darksided. It's now another chance for Love Decks, but Monty Connor get that touch. Nerves coming into play. League play week 1. Some of the hardest matches that they're going to play in league play. It all begins here. Passes up from Shady. This is Dumbo. And he waits. Hits the backboard. No. CJM taking it away. Good defense. CJM gets that clear. You can see on the side. Here comes Adzi. He centers it over to Monty Connor. It's more over to Dumbo. Shady passing it up. This is a good play from Darksided. It drops down. Dumbo hands it over, and Shady's going to now rotate up. He waits for it. Slow, steady. Love Deck's able to push through. The passing is there from Adzi.
Oh.
Nice outplay.
What a play by Adzi. Just takes that around nice and slow, fakes out the defender, and he's just really stepped up. I know CJM was a player who was like, I'm stepping up now, but he was always saying Adzi is our best player, and he's showing it.
Damn well he's showing it. Love Deck's back into the steering wheel. 2-all.
Right inside that
Right.
steering wheel.
You are the airbag. You are and for Love Decks right now, they don't need any cushioning because they're playing aggressive and they're getting up in this side of the field. They're putting Darksided back on the defensive. A minute remaining, 2-all. Adzi having a star performance here today. The start of OCE Champs, the start of league play. Makes you wonder how much further can this team go. They bring it back down the side of the field. CJM Leaving the ball. It's over to Express, to Dumbo. Shady now coming center field. Hangs around to this right wing. Rotating back. Waiting. This is going to be the pass. It's very well executed, but hits the crossbar. Darksided had an opportunity there, Yummy.
It was a huge opportunity. Darksided had set up quite a lot just in that play, but it wasn't able to go just from a simple strike. Express, though, over the top, takes it himself.
To now an explosive goal. But Express just ran away with this ball.
Yes, Shady and Dumbo can't do it, but this just shows why Express was the top goal scorer last season. He's going to step up and be the one to carry Darksided forward.
Now with a 1-goal lead, 15 seconds remaining, and this has been a really back and forth game if I've ever seen one. Love Dex forced under a bit of pressure, and I think Darksided may just control this. One last play. Shady brings it back. He's going to take it around. He's going to force all members to come up from Love Dex, but this ball is going to hit the ground, and Darksided take game one.
I actually think this is one of those games that Love Dex could be playing more defensive because Darksided love going on those breakaways. You saw it multiple times. It was either a breakaway with Express right at the end or a play between Dumbo and Shady.
Yeah.
And that is their two big plays that they're making. And then most of the rest of the time, they're willing to hang back. 3 saves to 0.
Yeah, and this is really good to see that Darksided may be are switching on a little bit faster than in comparison to the Chiefs. Darksided are a team that in the past have gone to RLCS with a portion of the roster.
With 1/3 of the roster.
With a portion of the roster.
Express has been to RLCS. He wants to go back. He didn't enjoy his performance there. He was not quite happy. He wants to go back and really prove. And I think throughout 2018, we do really need to see Express prove himself again as a top player because he's no longer considered by the other players in the region as that top player that he used to be.
But to be fair, we do have Love Dex with a portion of the roster going into RLCS. So, I think Darksided is going to be a very dangerous and explosive game, as I've once said. Love Dex now on the back foot, 1-0, game 2. Dumbo, just going to be careful. Monty Connor, oof, very close. When it comes in for a second time, doesn't get anything from it. Express losing the boost, now going to go up anyway. Adzi, the backboard's actually a successful hit, but it's just going to be dropped and left. Love Dex now looking for a big clip.
It's Love Dex, and it's all on them, and it's all on CJM with a big turnaround, a huge aggressive performance, just beating out the Darksided defense.
Finally the 1-2-3, but it's taken himself, and
look how fast he was there as well, just getting that first touch, but his recovery was so quick, he still beat out the defender.
CJM, this is good. This is what we needed to see. How do Love Dex take their convincing wins? How do they step up even more?
Now we just need to see Monty Connor. We've got CJM on fire. We have Adzi stepping up as well. CJM sneaking that in with the old backflipperoo.
I was a little bit worried about that one, Yummy.
Well, he jumped past it, but the reason was he was going for the block in the first place. He was looking for that challenge, which sent him just into the right spot at the right time to put that one in. Love Dex, already 2-0.
CJM's literally gone from 0 to hero in this game. And for today's games, I want to see a little bit more from CJM. Now 2-0 up, 4 minutes remaining.
He's just taking time to get used to the new Batmobile.
Well, CJM's always been a fan. Now defensive.
I prefer the Fatmobile myself.
Yeah, that's what's being called now, the Fatmobile, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, save away from CJM, cleared away, but it hits back in and Express. Better center it.
That's a little bit of luck there for Darksided, but they take those every single time as it was set up by that brilliant play by Express in the first place, off the side post, and just sneaking that one in. Darksided, you can never let them go.
But really, with Love Dex, we keep asking, can they hold? Can they keep this consistency?
That's the thing we've noticed. Their defense hasn't been incredibly solid. They've been stepping up in defense at the cost of offense, but there's still a few little inconsistencies there that allow goals to get through.
And he shore it up. Dumbo now at the center. Monty Connor clearing it away. Express waiting midfield. He's going to bang it all the way back. This is for Dumbo. The angle interesting, but missed. Dumbo now have to recover himself, and the ball getting pushed upfield. CJM waiting around it. Shady head-to-head. Adzi actually winning out to Dumbo. Shady here as well. The ball over to Express. Pops up. The old teammate of Monty Connor. He waits, loses it. CGM here. Express now bringing it around off the backboard. It's going to be slow. That's a good demo, but big clear. That's going to counteract the play completely. Monty Connor, he waits. Dark-sided, 3 minutes left remaining. Still a goal down. One opening is not going to be enough.
This is going to be pretty satisfying right now for Monty Connor. He was dropped from the Dark-sided roster to help them get to RLCS, and now he's in a position where he might be able to beat them.
Well, for Lovedex, wouldn't it be the hero story? They managed to take down Dark-sided. It all begins here. Game 2, ball's been taken away. Express, he's going to come in. Good read on the ball. Centers it down, but it's defended. And sent all the way back up. Dumbo now reiterating on that play, but Monty Connor clear away. Express, unable to get pace on the ball. Unable to find the second shot. Hangs around this corner as it lingers. Adzi sets it up once more. In control of Lovedex. And the demo, the bump. The aggression keeps coming through.
We got to see a good amount of play from Express's perspective. And it was just so beautiful to watch because he's just able to really make adjustments, small changes that fix any single small mistake that he makes.
I think Express has just been, again, one of those stable rocks.
So good at improvising.
Centering from the side of Lovedex. Adzi was coming in. Back over to CJM. Hits the shot away by Dumbo. After the save, Monty Connor going to recover it. Brings back to center field. Dumbo's up for the ball. Adzi, CGM, they're the ones to rotate back into defense, but it's good for Monty Connor. Over the side, reads it very, very well. As it hits this corner, he's going to continue coming in, but it's away by Dumbo. Over to Shady, centered through Adzi. CJM looking to come in, but out of boost is Monty Connor, so maybe the play comes to a halt. Keeping it down this side of the field. All that matters. Lovedex will look a lot more stable with another goal. That's centered. Over the side now, off the corner. Darksided trying to push through. Dumbo up. Only just in time.
Darksided need to change their play style up. They don't take a lot of risks, but there's 1 minute left. They need a goal. It's time to go more forward, push up for something a little bit more dangerous.
Counteracting is Express and Shady, the demolition. However, for Lovedex, this is the opening. CJM is there to score.
1-2, and that is a few more dollary dues for CJM all the way through with a hat-trick now in this game. CJM has stepped up, and it was off a great pass from Monty Connor, who'll also be happy with his performance.
Through and through, Lovedex now 2 goals up, 45 seconds remaining. Convincing plays off the backboard, however, Darksided not out of it just yet.
You have to be scared if you're Darksided at this point. This is a big turnaround of expectations for them.
The Chiefs. But the Chiefs all came down to one final overtime. It's a very uncomfortable moment for both sides. I always say we're going to get there first. Lovedex now, 20 seconds remaining. I think they may have done enough, but Darksided putting the pressure on. That was the last play, I dare say, to bring Darksided back into this game. And now with all this pressure built up by Lovedex, taking a game, bringing it to 1 apiece.
This is Lovedex bringing forward an effort in a series that, again, a lot of people wouldn't expected. Last season in the OCE Open Series, they were defeated 3-0 by Darksided, so they're already doing so much better than that, and it's CJM stepping up. Adzi didn't even get a single donut on the board, but he didn't really need to either. Monty Connor was doing some solid work in the midfield, so was Adzi, and CJM, just 3 big solo efforts, really.
I think Adzi's excuse there. He's had a great day so far, so he can have 1 game of donuts. But yeah, great to see CJM, and I think Monty Connor and CJM were working really well together.
I think those two are really good. That final goal was just Monty Connor building up the pressure and getting it past, and now Lovedex are in a position where not only can they win, they can get revenge for Monty, and I think the icing on the cake, if they can have Monty step up as well and be the determining factor, would be pretty huge.
It would be symbolic, especially going up against Darksided 1 apiece. Lovedex now take us into game 3. And a big performance by them in number 2. Can this be the turnaround for the series? Can this bring them all the way back? Take them to a match point. Express now sending it over to Dumbo. Darksided playing slow with the ball. Outmaneuvering Lovedex. all the way upfield. 30 seconds to pass. Lovedex getting some offense, but here comes Dumbo off the roof. Set up for Shady. Shady comes back down, off the backboard. Express doesn't get the ball.
That's where they've stepped up, I think, as well. That's a chance for CJM to score, but now Darksided have the individual mechanics to set up really good pressure plays by themselves. Shady off the backboard, off the miss by Lovedex.
Big start for Darksided. And Shady just taking the ball all the way.
He was really ready to commit to that. Just got up to that so quickly and snuck it through. Shady is stepping up. I think it's a big effort from him. One of the newer entrants in the scene last year, but already become a very experienced player.
Now for CJM. Handing the ball up, Adzi through center. Shady. Experience has definitely grown for Adzi. He's going to try and angle it. It's for CJM. This is close for Lovedex. Not getting the shot. There's one angled in. It's the backboard, back over to Shady. CJM will not get his way with it. Monty Connor back down. Reactive from Lovedex, but that one goal for Darksided. How's it going to affect the confidence here? The shot angled in. Two members up for the defense. Monty Connor runs into the back of CJM. CJM pops it back up. Shady's up for it here. It's angled in nicely.
That is Shady once again. He is coming up big with just an angled shot. But most of their plays are coming off the backboard here for Darksided. They've found the weakness of Lovedex and they're taking advantage. So if Lovedex don't step up in that regards, they might just get run over in this series.
This is already getting very, very dire for them. 2-0, Dumbo off the kickoff. CGM bringing down the ball. It's going to be a tight series at this rate. CGM popping it back up. As he now going to rotate, Dumbo bumping heads. CGM bringing the ball. Monticona has to back off, so it's just him. Now recovers, waits. Shady. Missing it over. Dumbo. It's going to be Adzi with the save. Back over to Express. This is centered. Demolition off the side to Shady. Make much of a difference. Darksided. They're on the defensive here. Still plenty of time for Lovedex, but not getting closed out. Monticona over to CJM. Couple of misses. Dumbo waiting. Darksided now on the defensive again. This is good. Lovedex. Especially if you're a fan. Adzi's just centered it. There's a 55% going for Darksided, so you can see that the audience getting very supportive of Lovedex here.
Yeah, it is a big turnaround, 45%, considering they're an unknown team compared to Darksided. Having just formed at the last side, but Dumbo putting that one in. There's still 2 minutes 20, but 3-0 is starting to get out unsurmountable.
Starting to get a little bit worried because this game has been a steamroll from Darksided, this particular game itself. It's not the Lovedex we saw last game. This is not the Lovedex that have been competing so damn well here today. Getting shut out. Maybe this is. I take it all back as soon as I said it.
CJM just finds these really critical openings every single time. He's got these intercepts. He got up to that ball and just committed to it, despite the fact that someone from Darksided was going, because he knew that if they missed, it's just a goal.
I have to say, though, for Lovedex, this kind of opens things back up. I feel like with Lovedex, it is about that confidence boost. It is about getting one will lead to others and lead to maybe putting a stranglehold on teams like Darksided.
Yeah, especially for newer players like CJM and I think uncomfortable players like Adzi. Just getting a single goal on the board can really boost them throughout the series.
Well, they've got 2 minutes left remaining. CGM in the defensive. Shady, good pass over to Express. Around the corner it goes. It's going to be dunked if Shady gets his hands on it, but he doesn't. Express. Now back over to Shady. The pass, 1-2. Third. He's actually Shady waiting here, but it's interrupted. Shady now looking to dunk. Long angle.
Another backboard as well coming out from Darksided. They're going to keep just taking advantage over and over again because it seems to be working.
Stop now. Demolition onto Dumbo. CJM, he'll follow the ball. He gets it taken away by Shady. Trying to run into Monty Connor. CJM and Monty Connor butt heads a little bit, but it doesn't matter. Monty here with the angle. Sent away by Shady. Dribbled out, in fact. Demolition onto CJM. The ball passing through from Darksided. Great center for Dumbo. He plays it slow. It was methodical, but Monty Connor got the read.
And it was so clever from Shady. You can see the gears moving around in his head as he's setting these plays up, being incredibly unpredictable. And, you know, half the time that's going to pay off.
Express over to Dumbo. Shady now continuing the ball and around this corner getting so damn aggressive and in their faces. 45 seconds remaining. Darksided may have done enough. This is a good shot, however, from Lovedex. Hits the backboard, hits right back, and Express doesn't get the touch. No one comes in from Lovedex. Posturing around the ball, a little bit fickle in the play, but 30 seconds. This has to go in for Lovedex.
It's right now or never. 25 seconds, and Lovedex have to get a goal.
Passing play up from Darksided, I think, has just denied it. And out of time, they have just run. Dumbo setting it back, and now it's just going to be a powerful move for Darksided to try and make this a concrete game and take away the morale from Lovedex. Game 3 going over to Darksided, now on match point.
You can't blame Lovedex for not being able to score through or make that 3-0 comeback. Darksided are one of the most solid teams on defense. They're always very calculated when it comes to the back half of the field. So scoring on them 3 times is not easy. Even then, a nice consolation goal at the end shows some good signs coming into this next
Definitely does. We're talking about the signs of life from Lovedex. That has been the focal point today for this team. And the New Zealanders have stepped up from our original expectations. I was saying maybe Lovedex are going to be bottom 2 team. If they, well,
really?
In comparison, when you see teams like maybe
That's
Retirement
because you're
Home
a huge Jam Gaming fan.
with Jam Gaming, Retirement Home. Anyway, for Lovedex especially, this shakes up league play just that extra bit.
Even
more.
if they don't win out this series, we know that games are so important. The tiebreakers at the end are all based on how many games you win,
Yep.
not on series. So getting 2 games off Chiefs, and if they get 2 games off Darksided, that's going to put them in such a good position in what is almost certainly going to be a tiebreaker situation at the end.
It always is. It always will be.
Last season, we had 4 teams tied on 5 series wins, and it could very much be the same this season.
And imagine, you know, if you get to that point and Lovedex is saying, hey, we put up a really good fight and we have for the rest of the season, that is the difference between them getting in the top 6, top 4. Maybe even potential run to RLCS. But first, tightening up this play, because in Game 5, Game 4, I beg your pardon, Darksided, they look to have maybe really just moved through the series.
I think that, yeah, Darksided have figured it out. They figured out the backboards because their passes, which they were originally attempting, were starting to get intercepted by Lovedex. And that is huge turnaround. They can't intercept the backboards.
Yeah, you can't read it all that well. Demolitionists kick us off. Dumbo, he goes down. Express brings it back up. The rotation back from Shady means Dumbo's going to come forward. He's waiting center field off the backboard. Now hits it around the angle from the corner. That's it. Slow with the ball, but Express gets there first. Now up for Shady, and this is not good for Lovedex. Immediately they start on the defensive.
This is a big start for Darksided, trying to put a punch on this series and show that they are a contender for that top 2 spot.
Past expectations running high for Darksided. They bring the ball back up. Here we go from Dumbo. It's centered. Shady with the angle. Rips right through the defense.
Oh my goodness. What a day Shady is having. Just angling this down. Dumbo putting in the original effort to get that one across the pitch. And Shady, man, what a day.
Man alive. This is a big moment for Darksided just to cement their top position. 1-0. Lovedex on the offense. This is good to see that there's a breath of fresh air in the roster. Shady over to Dumbo again. Passing plays. Concise here. 4 minutes left remaining. 3 on the defensive. Unable to push up. Express has just centered the ball. Taken away by Dumbo again. This should be Shady popping up. Express on the wing. Now it's been centered. Azzy hasn't found the touch. Oh no, but CJM will find the block.
This is a turnaround again. Darksided just moving this one forward, and every single touch always looking for a teammate.
Goes right back to Darksided, however, and Express the big long pass to Dumbo. Shady all the way back. Dumbo for himself. The corner angles in. CJM for the defensive. Will not find the second touch. Shady brings it back. Excuse me, Dumbo waits. Express is here. Dex now. Feels like they're slowing down, but Darksided, they look like they're just stepping it up. tempo building up a little bit for Darksided, keeping it in this half.
Even now, it's such clean rotations. They're not putting in any extra effort to set up a goal because they know they can just keep the pressure forward, keep wide rotations, and hold that ball in the defensive half.
Adzi chasing after the ball, Shady dribbling it forward, doesn't go through CJM, but it's still a good pass over to Dumbo. Shots wide, but the angle isn't. Dumbo to clean.
It was almost better that it wasn't a shot on net. A shot on net would have given possession over to Monty Connor, but because it went wide, it made it more difficult and Dumbo to come in and clean it up. Even Dumbo's getting involved.
This means Darksided are really finding their fine form in league play week 1. Love Deck's now time running out. Cinderella story was about to begin, but before it could, Darksided have gone ahead and shut that one down, just like the Chiefs.
Still a better situation for the Love Decks than it was last game. At this point, it was 3-0. We know that they can make a 2-goal comeback.
Darksided pushing up. 2 minutes 30, plenty of time for them. Off the defensive now, they can push up. The passing play, CGM over to Monticona, taken away. Adzi slow with the ball, but Monticona coming into a cover. Express, he's up for it. This is going to hit the backboard. It's not defended. Might open things up, and it does.
It's the Express and Shady combo. Just Express getting up to this so fast and at the same time threatening the double touch, which meant somebody had to jump up to try and stop it, and that opened up the net.
Now with 3 goals. Question how far Love Decks could fall behind without threatening the game. At 3 goals, you have to start questioning that. And definitely. Monticona passing it upfield. Shady sends it away. Now Darksided, they have the time in their scopes. 2 minutes left remaining. Monticona, he's already up. Adzi there with the center. In comes CJM, but it's denied by Shady. Darksided. It's going to be a great start to the season for them. One that cannot be denied. The Darksided still look as our top 3, our top 4 team. Coming to the OCE champs. Put a lot of weight on their shoulders and delivered so far.
There's some really clean play as well, especially Shady stepping up is a big sign that they can make it into that top 2. This is going to just roll in. Dumbo all the way down, and that's probably going to secure Darksided the game.
They've run away with the game, and Dumbo from all the way on the other side of the pitch.
I think this is a thing that I've really seen with Love Decks as well. If they're not committed all 3 to defense, they're committing all 3 to attack. They're not sort of truly scoping out the play. And you compare that to Darksided, they're always thinking about all the possibilities, covering every single one, and that's their huge strength.
It's very noticeable, especially when they're going up against Darksided, and you see how clean these rotations really are.
We say as they
well,
double.
yeah, oh.
Monty, that is
okay.
that's actually his 3rd open net that he's missed as well. Not in this series, but in the last. And that is a bit heartbreaking. Darksided look like they've taken this one out.
Cleaner rotations usually.
Yeah.
However, but it is coming back to it is quite obvious when you look at Love Decks and you say, this is a team that needs a lot of work in this area, whereas Darksided, they've got that, I guess, the 20%, the 80-20% theory that you were telling me about a while back.
What's really frustrating for Monty as well is this year, he's been a fantastic striker. He's been able to hit the net. That used to be his weakness. He turned it around. But today, it's the old Monty Connor missing open nets, not finding the opportunities that he should. And it almost, or potentially, I think it may have, completely cost them the series against the Chiefs.
Well, there's a lot of development to be made with the Love Deck squad, but they will go down in this series as well. Still holding 3 games in total, I think is going to be somewhat of a takeaway.
It's good, but losing the 2 series is a tough cookie for a team that wanted to get into the top 2.
Yeah.
Now they might be aiming to get into that top 4, because remember, 1st and 2nd, incredibly important, straight through to the finals, but 3rd and 4th get that double life in the regional, in the top 6 playoffs.
Well, Darksided, they'll take the series, however, and this is a good warm-up for them, or a good start, especially when they're going up against Legs Asili, who could be a potentially more unpredictable squad, but I think we'll talk about that a little bit later. Love Decks, the signs were there, signs of life
big first couple of games, but not really able to secure out the series as Shady started to rise from the ashes and put a shade over the entire Love Dex team.
He really did. Shady had a magnificent series. Shady had a magnificent game to finish off, and again, expectations for Darksider were met by Courier.
Yeah, no, I'm proud of the boys. Exactly as I expected.
Of course.
Yeah, no, it went really well for them. Like, Shady, as you were saying, had a great game, great showing at the end. He started off the game with a great set of rotations, just perfectly where he needed to be, but unable to get the touches he needed to really, like, set up his team. And then over the course of the day, he just cleaned up that little bit, and then he was on absolute fire.
Well, it's still interesting because we haven't seen that big performance from Express. He didn't need it in that game, but he can be that player that just takes a team and carries it on his own.
Well, he's got the foundations, right? He's mechanically a freak, and he's happy to play anywhere on the pitch. He can come forward. He can play reactionary. He's a guy that you just put on any roster if you could. He's like a Kami.
Yeah, because Express is so experienced, and I think that Darksider, they've got this roster of experienced players. You pair that in with hard work, and that's what makes a contender, you know, for the Open by HP MVP. That's what makes one of the best players.
Well,
like
obviously that would be Shady.
Well, yeah, it would be, but what I'm saying is that each and every player, it just works so well, and they make it look easy.
Yeah.
They make it look easy, Yummy.
I don't think it looked easy. I think Love Dex still really gave them a big showing in that first two games, but again, it was Shady with that huge performance.
Yeah, and then you could see their old style come out. When they hit their stride, it looks easy in the later games. Let's know the first two are pretty close. Because they have that style, they just choke you out slowly. They control you in the defensive half. They don't go too greedy. They play wider rotations. And then you don't have the opportunity to look like you can gain possession back. And that's why it may look like that, despite the first two games where it was touch and go.
But a big start for Darksided and taking this win. Now moving on to Legs Are Silly, which is your next series coming up after a short 5-minute break. Don't go anywhere.